Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to the first virtual meeting of the American Society of Naturalists, Virtual Asilomar 2021. My name is Susan Kalisz, and it is my honor and great pleasure to serve as the president of the ASN for the past year. I joined ASN as a member when I was a graduate student at the University of Chicago, working with Doug Shemsky, and I have been a member of the society ever since then. Just a little history. The first volume of the American Naturalist was published in 1867, and the American Society of Naturalists was formed 16 years later in 1883. So the ASN is the oldest scientific society dedicated to the study of ecology, evolution, and behavior. And the goal of the society is to enhance the conceptual unification of biological sciences by advancing and disseminating knowledge of organic evolution and other broad biological principles. Even though the American Society of Naturalists has kept its original name, it is truly an international society, as this meeting attests. A third of the membership lives outside the United States, and more than half of the submissions to the journal come from authors in 45 other countries. It's pretty wonderful. The institution in 42 countries subscribe to the journal, so libraries in 42 countries. And institutions in over 100 emerging nations receive our journal for free or at a very low cost. So we're really working hard to reach out to others who are naturalists across the globe to join with us. And this virtual meeting attests to just how international our society really is. We have 706 people registered for this meeting, and they are from 34 countries across 5 continents. We have people from Australia and New Zealand, Asia, Europe, North America, and South America. It's pretty phenomenal. And I want you all to know that the in-person Asilomar meetings are capped at 200. And the reason for that is that the conference center size limits how many people can attend. And this weekend's virtual meeting more than triples the number of people who can attend. And it really reduces the cost of the meeting in so many ways. So just considering travel, if everyone that registered for the meeting flew to California to attend, we estimate, and by we, I mean Mark McPeak, estimated that 3,577,387 flight miles, or 5,757,232 kilometers would have been traveled. And I estimated that that distance would be more than 7 round trips to the moon. So we've really limited our travel quite dramatically. And if we assume about 0.24 pounds of CO2 per passenger mile, having this virtual meeting means that we did not add 389 metric tons of CO2 to the atmosphere. So I want to say, well done, all you virtual travelers who are coming to this meeting using your computer and your living room or your office, wearing your pajamas or sweatpants or whatever you are doing. It's easy. And that just the travel costs are only part of it. The hotel costs and other things really add up. And this makes it so much more possible for people to be able to attend and be part of the group. So on behalf of everyone that's attending this meeting, I want to express our sincere gratitude to the people who were the tireless proponents of holding a virtual meeting, as well as shouldering the challenging work of planning and organizing it. And as you saw as you joined the meeting, Mark McPeak and Mike Whitlock have organized the program, set up the Zoom capabilities for nearly 300 talks across 10 contributed paper sessions, 2 symposia, 2 workshops, and many other events. So that is just a tremendous amount of work, and I'd like everyone to applaud them in advance. And we expect that there may be some glitches because this meeting is quite huge and may present some challenges, but I am thrilled to be here and thrilled to just be patient as well. And I think we're all going to have to go with the glitches and move forward. And there were many others who were involved in individual programs and workshops. And I'd especially like to thank Suzanne Alonso, Kate Eisen, and Kalisz, who have been working on the workshop that I hope most of you will attend this morning. So this has been a really wild year to be the president of a society with a pandemic. It's been a challenge for everyone across the planet, and it's been really more Zoom meetings than anyone could ever have wanted in their life. And so dealing with the pandemic has been a very personal and for my university, for my community, for my family, all of us have been dealing with it. And I know all of you have been too. And in the United States, we're also awakening to the continuing pandemic of racism. And so I hope that you will all join in the workshop that's going to happen later this morning, which is entitled Working Together Toward Unity, Equity, and Community. We are, I think this is going to be a really important workshop. I joined the ASN as a graduate student because I was really excited about the intellectual community. And I hope that with this workshop, we can begin to strengthen the American Society of Naturalists to become more of a beloved community. And this workshop is our first step in that direction. So we have a very exciting meeting planned today. We're going to start with the Society prizes, a tribute to Patricia Morse, who's the retiring managing editor of the American Naturalist, who has served for 20 years in that capacity. At 11:45, we'll have the workshop on working together toward unity, equity, and community. There'll be a break at 1 o'clock till 2, and then at 2 o'clock, the National Science Foundation outreach workshop will happen. And then at 3 o'clock, the contributed papers begin. And at 9 o'clock, we'll have a plenary Inspire talk by Scott Edwards. On Sunday, our meeting picks up again in the morning around 11 with the Vice Presidential Symposium. At 3 o'clock, more contributed papers, and then I will give a presidential address tomorrow evening at 9. And then on Monday, we'll wrap up with the Jasper Loftus Hills Young Investigator Symposium, another set of contributed papers, and we'll end with the Natural History Night, which is a trivia competition that will be digital. And I don't know how you guys are going to pull that one off, but I'm really looking forward to it. So with that, I'm going to start sharing my screen so that we can have the awards. So where are they? Are you seeing it? Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So welcome to the ASN 2020 award ceremony, everyone. I'm going to be sharing the presentation of the awards with Dan Bolnick, who is the lead editor of the journal. And I'd like to start today by talking about the 2020 IDEA Awards. That the IDEA stands for Inclusiveness, Diversity, Equity, and Access Award that was created in 2019 by the Tri-Societies. And by the Tri-Societies, I mean the American Society of Naturalists, the Society for the Study of Evolution, and the Society of Systematic Biologists. And the IDEA Award is given to a person or group of people at any career stage who have strengthened the ecology and evolutionary biology community by promoting inclusiveness and diversity in our fields. And Dr. Scott Edwards and Dr. Richard Kleiman were selected for their steadfast commitment to increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion of underrepresented minorities in evolutionary biology. In 2001, they started the Undergraduate Diversity at Evolution, UDE program, to provide funding and mentorship for students to attend the annual evolution meetings. Since its inception, nearly 250 US and international undergraduates have had the opportunity to participate. And I also want to say that Scott will be giving a talk tonight, the Inspired Plenary Address. And I think that's going to be really amazing. He is going to be talking about his cross-country bike trip, among other things. The next award is the Presidential Award for the best paper in the American Naturalist. And that was my honor to pick. It's a really amazing honor because you read an entire year's journal, every paper, and evaluate all of those. And I chose, among many stellar papers, the paper entitled Macroevolutionary Origin and Adaptive Function of a Polymorphic Female Signal Involved in Sexual Conflict. And the honor goes to Beatrice Bolnick, Catherine Duryea, and Eric Svensson. This paper really captured my attention because the authors shined a spotlight on aspects of intrasexual conflict that rarely had been considered before, and that is the role of female traits. And it uses a tremendous combination of evidence. They had 3 years of field observations, 16 field populations of damselflies in the genus Ischnura, a manipulative experiment where they altered the focal female trait, phylogenetic comparative analysis across 41 species, and they showed that these female mimics resemble males and really avoid conflict by having the expression of this trait. Their findings support the idea that this female trait has evolved by exploiting Ischnura male bias against blue abdominal patches in the immature females. And this paper underscores the importance of expanding the scope of sexual conflict studies beyond male signals to include the causes and consequences of the evolution of female signals. And I was so impressed, and I just would like to give a round of applause for them and these co-authors. I hope you will read this paper. Okay. I have no idea what time it is. Okay. The second award that it's my honor to give is the E.O. Wilson Naturalist Award. So this award is given annually to an active mid-career scientist who had made significant contributions to the knowledge of a particular ecosystem or group of organisms, and through this work has illuminated key principles of evolutionary biology and an enhanced appreciation of natural history. And this year's winner is Tia Lynn Ashman, who is a distinguished professor of ecology and evolutionary biology at the University of Pittsburgh. Tia Lynn's career exemplifies E.O. Wilson's approach to science. She notices interesting things about organisms and asks questions about those interesting and fascinating things. For Tia Lynn, these have spanned a wide range of topics: the life history of flowers, how long they live, floral displays, the interactions of plants and their pollinators, and heterospecific pollen transfer, the determination of sex in plants and the evolution of sex chromosomes, particularly using strawberry as a model system, and the role of polyploidy in biodiversity at the genomic and phenotypic levels. In all of her work, Tia-Lin has combined field observations, creative thinking, insightful experimentation, and a strong pursuit of true understanding. Tia-Lin has worked on many topics, as I mentioned, and her early work was on the different resource patterns between the sexes and the processes driving sexual polymorphisms. This led her to look at how pollinators interact, and then eventually to focus on the expression of sex via floral traits and the study of sex determining sex chromosomes. Her recent work on strawberries has revealed different ploidy levels affect phenotypes and how those phenotypes interact with pollinators. She also has had a great effect on how people think about sort of common traits. Her lab discovered a novel explanation for the patterns of UV light in the light absorption of flowers. Although naturalists have long known that the petals reflect UV and the center of the flower absorbs UV, they thought it was all about orienting the pollinators through nectar guides. However, Ashman and her lab members have shown that by studying geographic and elevational patterns, that the UV patterning also reduces the damage to pollen grains and has a different adaptive function than what we had thought of before. Along with all of her research achievements, Tia-Lin is also a champion of bringing science to the public, whether in the K through 12 classroom or outreach in urban spaces. She continues the arc of scientific leadership and public engagement that defined E.O. Wilson's career, and really is a worthy recipient of this award. So go Tia-Lin. Okay. The next award is for a senior researcher who is still active. The Sewell Wright Award was established in 1991 for an investigator who is making fundamental contributions to the Society's goals, namely promoting the conceptual unification of biological sciences. I should have got a glass of water. The Sewell Wright Award honors Sharon Strauss, who is a professor in the Department of Evolution and Ecology at the University of California, Davis. Sharon has had a career-spanning association with the American Society of Naturalists. She was a Jasper Hill Young Investigator in 1990. She was a president of the Society in 2018. She is a fellow of the California Academy of Sciences, the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and the Ecological Society of America. She is known for her breadth of her research, her writings in ecology and evolutionary biology, with a focus on plants. She is a lover of art and participates in art, but we know her especially for her breadth of research and writing in the area of ecology and evolutionary biology. Beginning with her early work on plant interactions with herbivores, her work expanded to include interactions with mutualists, including pollinators and microbes, and antagonists, herbivores and parasites. She argued early on that multi-species interactions and indirect interactions in particular are important in shaping the dynamics, distribution, and evolution of plant populations, and basically looked at natural selection as a whole, not just as a two-way interaction. She was an early proponent of integrating ecological and evolutionary research before eco-evo dynamics was a buzzword. She showed how species interaction shape patterns of natural selection on plants. Her work also illustrates how trait evolution can shape the outcomes of species interactions and how coevolutionary feedback maintains both genetic and species diversity in plant communities. In the past decade, the evolutionary lens of her work has expanded to consider phylogenetic and macroevolutionary influences on species interactions, coexistence, geographic distribution, and the evolution of niche. She has taken on the jewel flowers as her model system and has done beautiful experiments looking at trade-offs in physiology, fitness, and water use efficiency and flowering. And it's been just a great delight to follow the work of Sharon Strauss over the years. So I'd like to everyone to give a hand to Sharon for her wonderful work, and she's really deserving of this award. Although we're not going to talk about each of these people today, there are 4 winners of the Jasper Loftus Hills Young Investigator Award. They are Moises Esposito Alonso, Stefan Delisle, Diana Renenson, and Maria Umania. You will be able to see the work that they do and understand why they were chosen this year at the symposium on Monday, starting at 11 o'clock. And the Jasper Loftus Hills Young Investigator Award was established in 1984 to recognize outstanding and promising work by investigators who received their doctorates in the 3 years preceding the application deadline or who are in their final year of graduate school. I just want you to know that Jasper Loftus Hills was an Australian biologist of exceptional promise whose career was cut short just 3 years after he received his degree. He was 28 years old when he was killed by a hit and run driver while tape recording frog calls along a Texas highway. And so we are honoring others of great promise by having this award and having the symposium to cheer them on and continue the tradition of great promising scientists. And now I hand the podium over to Dan Bolnick.
All right, well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Oops.
Yep, okay. So it's my pleasure to introduce the winner of the Student Paper Award, also known as the Editor's Award. This was established about a decade ago. And the goal is to recognize a PhD student or a recent PhD who published an outstanding paper in the American Naturalist in the preceding year. And so myself as editor-in-chief and my co-editors, both current and recent, pour through all of the student-authored papers in the American Naturalist. Susan mentioned getting the opportunity to read the entire journal for a year. We do the same thing for a subset of the student authored. And this past year, I believe there were 74, I might have the number slightly off, but there were more than 70 student authored papers, which itself is a testament, I think, to the journal being a student-friendly place to publish. So keep that in mind, all of you students. And so it's really an enormous challenge because of the high quality of the student papers to pick a particularly good paper. And there are many, many papers that we could very well have highlighted. This particular paper by Chulian Song and colleagues, titled "On the Consequences of the Interdependence of Stabilizing and Equalizing Mechanisms," takes a close look at a dominant theme in community ecology today. Susan, you control the slides. If you can move forward one, please.
Trying.
There we go. So there's a great deal of interest for decades and decades on the mechanisms of coexistence between species in complex multi-species communities. And one of the dominant paradigms in this that's emerged in the past decade or more is known as sometimes called a modern coexistence theory, really driven by Peter Chesson, who's been a great mover in this area. And Julian Song and colleagues take a critical eye at this theory, and they evaluate some of the fine details and ways in which they feel that the relationship between what Peter Chesson refers to as stabilizing mechanisms and equalizing mechanisms that can both maintain species coexistence, and that help to reconcile notions of niche-based ecology and neutral theory of ecology, maybe more interdependent rather than orthogonal types of mechanisms than Peter's work had suggested. This is an area of genuine controversy. There's a lot of debate going on, and I think that the final word on all of this is still going to take more papers in the future. But the committee found this to be an exceptionally clearly written paper that made the ideas approachable, and that we found it to be a very, very readable, engaging, and intriguing take on a controversial topic. And so congratulations to Julian Song and colleagues for this very, very nice work. Okay. So now I think it's time for us to step on to the next segment. We're going to spend the next bit of time here talking about Trish Morse, who is attending virtually from Chicago. And Trish was managing editor of the American Naturalist from 2000 to 2020. So for a 2-decade span, she really was the, I was about to say person behind the curtain, but that's not even accurate, because she was very much in front of the curtain. Trish was the friendly, smiling face of the society. Whenever you went to a conference, there was Trish at the desk, ready to talk to you about publishing, about really anything involving the society, science, publishing, etc., and just to be a friendly face to someone to speak with. And always one of the highlights of going to conferences for me was getting a chance to talk to Trish. And I think that's true for many people here. So as a bit of background, Trish really is a consummate professional editor. She has a PhD in literature and has a deep interest in history, and is, I don't think it's giving anything away to say she's enjoying her retirement, continuing work on a history book. If she wants to reveal the topic, that's her choice. I won't presume. And she was hired by Joe Travis in 2000. And Joe, in writing a letter of thanks to her on her retirement, commented that there's a handful of things that he feels like he really did right in his career, and there's a handful of things that he feels like he did that really mattered, and that the intersection of those, number one on the list is hiring Trish as managing editor of AmNat. So Trish's role was to interface with, she really did everything. She interfaced with authors. So when you submitted a paper, she would check over to make sure it was meeting our expectations for submission. She would shepherd it through onto the editor's desk. She would recruit the associate editors that we picked. She would reach out to reviewers and harass reviewers into completing things in a timely manner. She always had an eye out for getting things back to authors as quickly as possible. And At the same time, she was a coach and mentor and collaborator for us as editors and associate editors. I learned a great deal from her about how to do this job, and how to do so in both in terms of a timely manner and being very, very humane and attentive to the needs of the authors and the reviewers and the associate editors, and just trying to keep it very much focused on maintaining really, really strict professional standards while also being fundamentally a friendly, welcoming place academically. And I think that's too often it can feel like this is just a cog in a machine, but Trish really lent it simultaneously a degree of intense professionalism and humanity, for which we are all extraordinarily grateful. And I will say that, as somebody who started publishing in the American Naturalist in the early 2000s, she was my first point of contact with the society. And so really ranging from my first publications to becoming an associate editor and her coaching me through that process, to becoming editor-in-chief and working with me very closely through that. Trish also has been really a leader in helping the journal move into new directions. So, for example, the transition to requiring data repositories, which has turned out to be a very, very important feature of the journal that many other journals, some other journals adopted simultaneously. Many others have been slower to adopt. She was really a force in helping that happen. Same thing with the transition to double-blind review process. She really made sure that that happened and happened smoothly and well. And so there are many initiatives like this where the journal has been really a leader in how we go about publishing science. And Trish has been right at the forefront of all of those initiatives. And I think the way the journal works today is very, very much due to her. Trish also had another element, which was serving as, I'm not even quite sure how to describe this, but really making things happen for the society as well. This was not part of her job description. This was not anything that she was obliged to do, but she saw that we needed help and she picked up and really helped to organize us. She's the one who still puts out the ASN newsletter. Well, not now that she's retired, but she was putting out the ASN newsletters. She was putting out reminders to the officers of the society that, well, you need to be doing such and such right now. You need to be putting out an announcement for this. You need to be choosing these awardees. And so she was our conscience and our reminder and our calendar, and so many things rolled into one that just made the society function and happen, for which we're just so immensely grateful. I want to open up a little bit. There are some other former editor-in-chiefs on the call, and I do want to give them an opportunity to weigh in. So if any of them are available, you are welcome to chime in and say a few words.
Sure, I'd love to. This is Judy Bronstein. Can you hear me, Dan?
Yes.
I was editor-in-chief immediately before Dan from, I think, 2013 to 2017. I only accepted the editor-in-chief position after getting assurances that Trish was not going to retire on my watch. Running a journal entails so much more than choosing the papers, right? Financial arrangements with the publishers, interactions with copy editors and printers, basically herding cats, ranging from authors to other editors to the society presidents. And journals in our field generally do this two ways. The old way is having a very long-term dedicated editor-in-chief who has basically given up their career to do this. Or else the modern mode, which is outsourcing to a company that probably has not even a dim awareness of the field, let alone the people in it, right? Well, AmNat went a third way, and this really came into full flower under Trish. She melded a society and journal into what we recognize today. She was this consummate editorial pro who got to know her publisher, her staff, her editors, and a surprising number of our authors personally, right? She's a coach, and I love that word that Dan used, because she did. She coached all of us to do our jobs the right way. And I think it's really important. She established a level of trust with authors. She established personal relationships that translated to high professionalism. And that made our authors want to come back to us repeatedly because of the way they were treated and the way their work was treated by our journal. Every journal in our field wants a Trish. And even more, every journal in our field wanted Trish. She's renowned far beyond our own community of scholars, and we were lucky to get her and hugely fortunate to keep her for 20 years. But, maybe at this point, one of the most important things she did is she made institutional changes that made it possible for her innovations to continue. She personally trained our new managing editor, Owen Cook, and we're now absolutely thrilled to have him on board. We know that the journal will continue in good hands. So adieu, Trish. I'll see you in Tucson, which is a city you've come to like a great deal. And everybody, don't forget to welcome Owen. We're very, very lucky to have the transition that we do right now. So thanks a lot.
I'd just like to add briefly, I got to know Trish as editor-in-chief, and everything everybody just said is absolutely true. And we would all be in such a worse place if it weren't for Trish. And I hope we're not going to that worse place now. But I just wanted to turn the thing that maybe everybody doesn't see, as I think Dan mentioned it, but Trish has entirely, as a volunteer, not as part of her job, been the history and the continuity and the sort of brains and heart and soul behind the scenes for the society as a whole. She's comes for the last, I don't know how many years, she's come to all of the council meetings, and she's provided the continuity. And as people have said before, she's provided the conscience. She reminds us of things. But so many things that have happened from the society have sprung from comments that Trish has made, and her ideas and her integrity have made the society, not just the journal, better. And I just wanted to highlight that because it wasn't her job. She just did it because she's a good person who cares about us. And I just want to say we care deeply about her too in exchange. And so thank you, Trish. Thank you very, very much.
I'd like to jump in here if I can. This is Jonathan Lossis. I was the second editor-in-chief that Trish worked with. So sort of the other end of the spectrum from Judy's comments. I agree with everything that's been said before me. What really sticks out in my memory is 20 years ago, almost 18 years ago, when I became editor-in-chief, there was almost no online activity for journals in general. This was the dawn of the electronic publishing age. Every week, twice a week, I would get a packet this big in paper of all the manuscripts submitted and all the reviews that had come in. Manuscripts were sent as paper to reviewers. They came back, everything. There was online, there were no supplements or any of those other things. And the reason the Naturalist was, I think, at the forefront, certainly in our part of science and really among science journals in general, in pushing the online electronic frontiers. And that was because of Trish's enthusiasm and innovation and desire to do that. And so it was really because of Trish that we've gotten to where we are in that aspect of publishing. And that really, in addition to everything else that the others have said, sticks out in my memory when I was editor-in-chief about how Trish helped the journal stay at the forefront, be at the forefront.
So thank you. In the interest of staying on schedule, we are supposed to be wrapping up in a couple minutes. So I want to just say a couple quick words. As a thank you gift, the editors gave Trish copies of the first 4 volumes, originals of the American Naturalist, 1867 to 1870. and they arrived at my house for a while, and I handled them and was just in awe of these things, and it was a little tough to let go of them myself. These amazing volumes, and so much fun to look through. If you haven't looked at original, you can find these online on JSTOR through the publisher. Read some of the early articles, they're amazing. And then there's an additional gift, which Trish is now supposed to open live in front of us. So I'll turn it over to Trish.
Okay, I guess I better unmute. And oh, you know, it was, I just want to say it was always totally my pleasure. And, you know, it was, I will miss you guys, and you're making me tear up. So, but, you know, I totally enjoyed working with the society, or obviously I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, no, it's been great. And it's really great to make a difference. And I guess, oh, that was one thing I wanted to say, was to all the junior people that are out there. Yeah, you know, one person can make a difference. And looking, you know, Dan and Betty and I just wrote, you know, worked on the history of the journal. It's really obvious how much difference a single person makes in coming in and making a thing work. So I hope you consider pitching in and working for the society. Okay, now I'll open. Ooh. Fancy Mylar. It's a box. It's another box. Oh, oh, what fun. Oh, thank you. It's, oops. Oops. I don't know if you can see it. I'm getting reflections. It's a necklace with the snail logo.
And look on the back.
Oops. Oh, it says Trish Morse, Heart, Mind, and Soul of ASN 2000 to 2020. Now I'm tearing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a lot of snail gear. So this is perfect. Thank you so much. And, you know, well, I'm not going to forget you guys, you know. It'll help me remember. Yeah. I don't know if I have much. Oh, so Dan said, so yeah, one reason I finally decided it was time is to finish this writing project I've had for a long time, which is I'm writing a history of how the experience in World War II changed my parents' lives. But I'm writing it as a history so that people understand, you know, what big historical events do to change the world around people and to change people. And this year has made it seem a lot more salient to talk about how large historical events change people's lives. So that's my project. That's all the books. And now I have a nice notebook from the grad students store to help take notes in. Yeah, and yeah, no, it's been, I will miss you all. It is very true. And yeah, I've enjoyed, I won't say every minute, but I've enjoyed the 20 years a lot. Yeah, it's just time to wrap up some other projects while I'm still, you know, in good shape. So I guess that's my speech. It's been great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share one more slide then so that people can see. Oops, come on. That's what it looks like.
Oh, good. Yeah, because it's hanging a little low in the picture. Yeah. Yeah, it's really great. I will say one more thing while on the floor. One of the great things I did for the society was find this as the logo.
Yes.
Right.
When I was playing with the, I took over the webpage early on because, you know, it was in the early days and needed work. And it had no graphics at all. It was, you know, just text. And so I opened the early, you know, years of the journal poking around, and I came across the snail looking in the microscope, and I said, I love it. So I started putting it everywhere. And when society needed a logo, that was the universal choice. And the early volumes of the journal are the perfect gift, because I just love that early naturalist writing where people are just, you know, walking out into the woods and, you know, finding it all an adventure. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.